welcome to Trading Lounge and the US Indices for the 4th of February, starting with the S&P on the daily chart here. So we know that this move down through here is corrective, so we can label it wave 4, and our primary count to the upside is wave 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then moving up for wave 5 of 5 here as such. So that's our primary count. The possibility that this wave 4 can get more complicated is certainly on the card. So that means that we can have a variety of corrections that could play out here in terms of any of the Elliott corrections that start with 3 waves here. So the range of flat corrections. So an expanded flat, a regular flat, and even a triangle and double zigzags and so on. So I don't have enough evidence, but the thing is that the move up here appears to be in 5 waves, so that's a good start, but it could still be wave A here. But the other point here too is at the end of 5 waves, we know we're going to be pulling back anyway, so we can pull back into a wave B here, but they'll be both wave 2 and wave B will be the same pattern here, pulling back into this little box area here. So that's what we're looking for. One of the points here is in this particular move up through here in 5 waves. So if I just look at this here on the 4-hour chart first, and then the 1-hour chart where we keep our trade. So this is how we can count it to the upside here. So from this wave 4 here, we've been counting 5 little waves up here. So I'll just finish this off here first on the hourly chart here. So from wave 4 here, this on our website is labeled differently as a part of a triangle pattern. Within here is an A and a B and a C and a D and an E wave here. But on the cash market, it's quite clear that there's an impulse wave up here. So I've just labelled it in line with the impulse wave on the cash market. There appears that there can be one more little push up through here. So this is what we were talking about last time here. So that could take us up into the 2720 area here. That's where our sort of target was looking at here. I suppose, we've got to lift the stop up, but if this this market could also on the open just drop down through here, but we wouldn't. This wave 4 here, wave 4s can pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here. Okay, so that's also possible for this to come down. As I sort of talk about the trading levels a bit, this is at the 2700 area through here. This is group 1 above, which is just 1, 2 and 3. And if we get a tested support on top of 3 here, then we're going to be pushing higher from that point. But we need that tested support. And just trading above the number 3 here, the 30, is not tested support. Needs to see how this is testing it here. So that's testing it as support. So then we would take the breakout above that. So that this pattern here, and the same as this one, it's all the same. Needs to sit on top of 30 here for that to for the market to continue to move higher and leave this number here. So we always need to be aware about that. We we're in a bullish trend, so we need to have an evidence. Even when this moves up here, we'll still need evidence of a turn lower. We need an impulse wave to the downside before we start shorting it. On the downside here at the 2700, what I call group 2 below here, 65, 72 and 80, that would need to become the retested resistance technically in the trading levels point of view here for the market to be leaving this closest largest number, the 2700 here. So these numbers here and these numbers here, they tend to trap the market, and that's why that's our correctional range within this space here. So we need to be mindful of that. One of the things that I wanted to sort of point out with US stocks on the New York desk exchange. So when we look at some of the banks rather, so this is BAC here. So the move up through here, what I'm sort of seeing with the banks is that the move up here just appears to be in in 3 waves here. So let me just lay this out here. So have wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we've got this third wave up here. So the thing with the third wave here, of course, is that it could also, seems to be the case with all the banks. So the 38.2% retracement level for this here based on this low here, or in fact we can even take it to this low here. This is Bank of America. I'll have to check that. I'll just bear with me a second. Each bank is a little bit different. I'm just thinking of this here is probably a bit more correct here, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Yeah, that's right. So so this move up here can be labeled as 1 and 2 and 3 here, and then back for 4 here. That fourth wave may get a little bit more complicated in this space, and then wave 5 up here. But also too, as it stands, this can be labeled as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So this the banks can be labeled as a corrective move up here. So that's BAC. If we look at Goldman's for a moment, this is the same with Goldman's as well. It will stick at this major trading level, the same as the BAC will stick at the $30. So they've got things, but you can see here that we've got this here is like wave 1 and 2, and then 3 up here. I mean, I've got this labeled on one of these charts here, so we can look at it here. So I can count 5 waves up to this point here, and have wave 1 here and wave 2, a nice strong third wave here with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So an A and a B and a C for wave 4 here, then up for wave 5. So the banks can still do that. I mean, this could probably be labeled as 5 waves up here too, in that this is a little bit tricky. It would have wave 1 in here and wave 2 here, and then this would be wave 3 and 4 and 5 here. So it could be labeled like this here, but just doesn't sort of seem quite right at this stage. So this is Goldman's here, so we can look at Morgan's as well, JPM here, the same thing. A little bit trickier to work out there. What about Cities? Cities have got a nice move to the upside here, so yeah. And this is at 65 here, which is also a medium level here. So all the banks are facing resistance here, but I just wanted to point out that the moves up for the banks can be corrective. So we still need those to develop a little bit further. When we look at the NASDAQ here, and we'll look at some of the NASDAQ stocks as well. So with the NASDAQ here, I've counted the same as the SP 500 moving up. So wave 3, an A and a B and a C for wave 4, and looking for a move up here, so we can place this. I think we had the stop there already. So this move here is an A and a B. I think there can be one more move here, but there's a lot of stocks. I mean, it's just this little tiny bleep in here, this little one here. I'm not sure if to count that as 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 here, and then 3 and 4, and having 5 here, or this 4 and 5. So I'm not quite sure about this here, but need to keep that stop tight within that space there. So when we look at, we've been looking at Amazon, so let's just have a look at Amazon. So we're looking this Amazon down here as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave for wave 4 here. So this count moving up through here, I think we had it on the hourly chart. It's moving into this box here as its 50-60% retracement level, and then this would be the 50-60% retracement level from here. So if there is a top in play here, then we'll see it move lower. So we probably need to see it move below here in this case, but this is where it would move to, back to 1500. So on the, I don't know if it's the hour or the tick chart, we were looking at this. Okay, so from the low here, we're looking at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2, sorry, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for the third wave, an A and a B and a C for the fourth. So we have moved up here. The extension's in wave 3 here. So wave 1 and wave 5 can be roughly the same length. This does look rather impulsive moving down through here, but what it also does too for the time being, and we'll also look at this a bit later, is that this high here now becomes the reference point high for any long trades. And of course we'll be able to get a better position on that as this unfolds here across this medium level here, 1650. This is also a medium level here in terms of the trading levels. So yeah, and this is the space that we were looking for it to come into. So we can have a top in for the Nasdaq. So we need to be mindful of that. And of course this would, it looks like an impulse wave down to this point here. So we need to get a bit more evidence for this yet. We're not really, we're more interested in trading this on the long side here. If we get a nice sort of A, B and C here, then we'll be able to bring our entry down at this point here. If we can see that this is the B wave, then we'll be looking for 5 waves in the C wave here. So then we can look to wait for the first impulse wave up, bring back, and then come across the top here, and then move in on this side over here. So that needs to fall into play there. This is another stock here called, this is Square. This is a daily chart here. We've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here as well. So an A and a B and a C wave coming into this space here. So we'll be able to look for that before we push up in there further. This is it's a daily chart here. I haven't got this labeled, sorry, but we can just label it quickly here. So if we look at this as just configure this here a bit. I mean, this is quite a nice ABC pattern to the downside, actually. There's a lot of stocks. Most of the Nasdaq stocks are like this here anyway. So B and 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the third wave, fourth wave and fifth wave. So that makes a nice C wave here. And moving up here, so doesn't present fantastic 5-wave structure here. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on this one, because what I like about what I like about the current situation in many of the Nasdaq stocks is, and many stocks on the US as well, is that we have this ABC correction here. So we're looking at our first little impulse wave up. So now we can really get, you know, we can get ready for long trades in a sense, because all we need now, because this is the 400 here, which is a medium level, then we just need to see this as support. So we're going to see some type of ABC correction across these points here. So if we've got these impulse waves here, then a correction here, we've got this correction, and then we've got this impulse wave, and then we've got this correction. So it really makes for nice trading at this point. And yes, we can get better positions in lots of different ways, but the point being is that these tops will be taken out here, and we'll be looking for wave 3, 4 and 5 moving up here. So we've the possibility of some really nice trades coming into the market are approaching. We've still got a way to go yet, and we still need more evidence to fall in place, and we want, you know, support and those sorts of things. What else have we got here? Netflix, just been having a look at Netflix as well. Okay, so I just need to do a little bit. I couldn't quite get my head around this, but the main point here is that the move down through here as an A and a B and a C wave here for a wave 4 is certainly on the cards, and this certainly looks like an impulse wave up through here. in this case, it does look like we've got 5 waves up and then an A wave, a B wave. We still need the C wave to come down into this space. And I just want to see if this market moves above the 350 from this current low here and moves up above the 350 and finds support on it, then I'll need to put wave 1 here. But otherwise, if this drops here, then what we can do is we can move this over to here and look at this being wave 2 here, and then what will occur here will be a nice move to the upside here, and we can look at being long in these markets here. So where, you know, that's the thing, there's either no trades or there's a lot of trades. That's not totally true. There's always markets going in different directions and doing lots of different markets doing their own thing, but just generally speaking here. So yeah, so that's sort of where we are really. I'll just leave it at that. I've waffled on enough, but you get the general sort of idea that where we are with these markets, and this is quite a nice pattern to put forward for the Nasdaq stocks, so we can look to being long in these spaces. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.